Hey, one of the things that we are seeing in the cybersecurity insurance landscape is a 10x increase on these premiums. One of the main reasons is because of the number of claims that are being submitted to these insurance providers. Poor IT hygiene over the years is really catching up to businesses, and the impact of these claims are becoming more and more significant. The average payout is just it's increasing. But with that being said, so is the complexity of the claims. If you're a business and you were breached, now because of government policies, most of the time you have to disclose that information to donors, or if it's financial information that was breached, you have to disclose those kinds of things. HIPAA information you have to disclose to the patients, but you have to disclose those things. And so what's happening is there's now legal teams getting involved from the cybersecurity insurance side. There's a whole forensics analysis that has to be done, and then you still have the remediation just to get you back up and operational. Plus, your downtime is covered. Is the business financial impact of your downtime is covered inside of that cybersecurity insurance policy, which is why it's important to have one. But because of the escalating increase in these claims, we're seeing a big increase in the premiums. But also, one of the things that we're seeing is a more in-depth process for the approval for you to obtain cybersecurity insurance. Uh, they're shifting this risk from themselves to the business, because used to it was a little checkbox, an underwriter, if you will, on your E&O insurance, or your professional liability insurance, or whatever it might have been. But now it's pretty much a dedicated policy, and in a lot of cases are 5 pages long. They're asking things like, are you using two-factor authentication on all your cloud programs, SaaS programs? How do you transfer data? Are you using a password manager? Do you have a password change policy? Do you have a patch policy? How do you manage your data backups? How often are you taking backups? How long are they stored? Where are they stored? You get it. But these questionnaires are getting long and in depth. But what that does is, in a sense, it shifts the liability and the risk from the providers back to the business to have proper IT hygiene. And in reality, the risk was always there. But now the insurance providers are recognizing the risk and shifting it back to the businesses. So this is why it's important that you don't have just some business admin go through and answer these questions when they're submitting the applications. Because if you state that, yes, we do use two-factor authentication, and let's just say your controller turns it off, or it was never turned on and they get breached and there's a significant claim through that. With forensics, they're going to determine that, hey, you were outside of the policies and we gave you your rate and your premium based off the fact of you told us that you didn't, and you were breached because you didn't. That's your fault. So it's important that you're utilizing the right asset inside of the company to answer these questions. That way they're correct. But then, more importantly, you need to go through and you need to make sure that you're auditing the systems on a regular, reoccurring basis, and you've got evidence of that. And that's exactly what our technical alignment person does, and they provide that information to our VCIO, who's able to complete these cybersecurity insurance policies for you and things like that. But with that being said, those are kind of the big changes that we're seeing in the cybersecurity insurance landscape: an increase in premiums and an increase in the complexity to apply, and that's causing a shift in the risk. So once again, keep these things in mind. Utilize the right assets to make sure that you're protecting yourself as a business and mitigating your risk.